First contact. And a loose bolt, asterisk. The maintenance bay smelled of oil, heat, and burned circuits. A young human technician named Tom crouched beside a damaged exosuit, trying to fix a stubborn joint connector. Sparks flew, and his wrench slipped for the third time. "This piece of junk hates me," Tom muttered, wiping sweat from his forehead. It was supposed to be a simple mission, a joint exploration exercise between humans and the Thalari, a curious species with wide eyes, long fingers, and skin that shimmered in shifting colors. The humans called them shimmers. Suddenly, light footsteps echoed behind him. Tom turned, nearly bumping heads with the source. A tall Thalari girl stared at the gear in his hands. Her name was Rila, and she was part of the alien tech exchange team. Unlike the others, who kept their distance, she had a habit of showing up whenever Tom worked on machines. "You're doing it wrong," she said in her smooth, musical voice. Tom blinked. "Oh? Please, by all means, tell the human how to fix his human-made gear." Without asking, Rila slid down beside him. Her fingers hovered over the panel, and her silver-blue skin brushed against his hand. Tom froze. "U-H. We humans call that personal space." She didn't reply. Instead, she narrowed her glowing eyes at the loose bolt, leaned in too close, and whispered, "This part is emotional. You must treat it with care." "Wait, the bolt is ... emotional?" "Yes, you tighten it too much. It gets angry." "Not enough. It feels ignored." Tom almost burst out laughing, but Rila was dead serious. She gently adjusted the piece, then looked at him expectantly. He blinked. "Well, that's one way to look at it." Rila tilted her head. "You laugh, but now the gear works." And it did. The limb clicked into place with a soft whir. Tom stared at it in disbelief. Okay, maybe it was emotional. She smiled a surprisingly warm and mischievous expression. "I think your tools are also sulking. Let me speak to them." Tom handed her a spanner. Her long fingers wrapped around his hand instead. It wasn't intentional, probably, but it lingered longer than needed. His heart jumped. You fixing tools or stealing souls now?" Rila leaned closer, her voice soft. "Your body. Temperature rises. Is this ... overheating?" Tom turned red. No, just, atmosphere fluctuations." Rila nodded solemnly. "I will study your reactions. For science." He groaned and looked away. "Great. I'm a science experiment now." Just then, Commander Briggs' voice came through the intercom. "Human and Thalari tech crew status?" Tom pressed the "Come." "All good, sir. Just a minor adjustment." Rila whispered, "Tell him the gear felt loved and responded." Tom ignored her, but couldn't stop smiling. As they packed up, she stood close again. Very close. "Tomorrow, we fix the core. Reactor together." Tom gulped. "The one near the coolant pipes." "Yes, it may require more emotional touching," he coughed. "Of course it does." As Rila walked away, her shimmering skin caught the bay lights, leaving a trail of soft color. Tom looked at his gear, then at his hand where she had touched. This was supposed to be about fixing machines, but something very different was beginning to spark. Asterisk. Coolant pipes and unexpected sparks. Asterisk. The next day, Tom arrived early at the lower maintenance deck. The place was colder than usual, with steam hissing from cracked coolant pipes. He zipped up his uniform and looked around. No sign of her yet. He exhaled, trying to act normal. "It's just fixing stuff," he told himself. Alien girl, shiny skin. Weird science jokes. Nothing strange here. Then she entered Rila, the Thalari technician. Her movements were graceful, almost like she floated instead of walked. As always, her silver blue skin shimmered, but today It glowed faint purple, a sign of curiosity among her kind. Tom gave a short nod. "Morning. Ready to sweet-talk the reactor?" She smiled. "Yes. I've prepared my most gentle voice for—" "The wires," he blinked. "That was a joke, right?" Her face was blank. Was it? Tom couldn't tell. They moved closer to the reactor core. The unit was unstable, sparking at the base. A panel had come loose, revealing tangled cables, some scorched. "We'll need to reroute the coolant first," Tom said, kneeling beside it. Rila knelt too close again. Her shoulder pressed lightly against his. She reached into her tool pouch and handed him a connector dot. He reached for it, but her hand moved at the same time. Their fingers met again. Tom pulled back quickly. "You really don't have this whole space thing down, do you?" She tilted her head. "Is that a command or a warning?" He laughed nervously. "It's a survival tip." Rila ignored that. She leaned in, inspecting a melted cable. "This wire looks stressed. It needs calming." Tom tried not to laugh. "You got a candle and soft music for it?" She looked confused. "No. Should I bring some?" He sighed. Okay. Let's just fix it." As they worked, her hand brushed his several more times. Once, she even rested her palm on his wrist to steady it. Tom stiffened. "You're doing it again." "What?" "Touching." "Yes. Is that wrong?" He stared at her. "Kind of depends. On Earth, that's personal." Rila didn't respond. Immediately. Then she said quietly, "Among my people, working in close contact builds trust. Touch shares calmness. Is it not the same for you?" Tom paused, not sure how to answer. "Not really, but it's not bad. Just unexpected." She looked up at him. Her eyes glowed softly. "Do you want me to stop?" Tom opened his mouth and closed it. Finally, he said, No. It's fine." They went back to work. A small explosion popped from a side panel. Tom flinched. "That?" "Pipes under too much pressure." Before he could react, Rila reached over him and slammed a switch. The pipe hissed and released steam right over both of them. The blast knocked them back. Tom landed on the floor with a loud grunt. When he opened his eyes, she was on top of him. "Are you damaged?" she asked, wide-eyed. Not sure. You kind of landed on my ribs." She didn't move. "Then I will remain here and check for signs of pain," he groaned. "Pretty sure I'll feel some soon." She leaned in closer, her hand brushing his cheek gently. "You're very warm again." Yeah, I know. Atmosphere fluctuations." She blinked. "Still lying?" Tom gave up and laughed. Just then, the comm crackled. "Maintenance crew report." "Is the reactor stable?" Tom grabbed the device. "Yes, sir. Reactor's stable. Minor coolant mishap. Nothing exploded completely. Copy that. And tell the Thalari to keep her tools out of human faces." Tom glanced at Rila, still awkwardly laying on him. Double quotes, ... too late. The call. Ended. Rila finally stood up and offered her hand. He took it and got back on his feet. She looked thoughtful. "You are not what I expected." Tom smirked. "Let me guess. You thought humans were cold and distant?" She nodded. "Yes, but you're warm all over." He stared. "You're talking about temperature again, aren't you?" She nodded again. Tom sighed. "Of course you are. Shared tools, shared trouble." Tom walked into the upper deck storage room with a mission to find the missing calibrator. Tool before Rila did something strange again. He had barely taken 3 steps when he heard her voice behind him. "You are searching for something?" Tom sighed. "Yes, the thermal calibrator. It's gone. And if I don't find it, the captain's going to calibrate me into deep space." Rila stood beside him with a calm look. I took it. I needed to talk to it privately. He blinked. You what? Rila reached into her pouch and held it out. It was scared. It wasn't ready to be used. Tom stared at her like she had. Grown 3 heads. Rila, it's a wrench. No, she said firmly. It's a tool of great emotional sensitivity. You humans don't understand how machines feel. Tom ran a hand down his face. You know what? I'll let you believe that. Just ... Don't tell the captain you whispered to tools. She looked confused. Why not? Because he already thinks I'm the weird one. They moved to the main diagnostics table to begin repairs on the sensor rig. The rig had been fried by a solar storm, and the cables looked like burnt noodles. Tom reached for a spanner. Hand me the... But before he finished, Rila gently pressed the tool into his palm, and again her fingers lingered. He tried to ignore it, but her touch made his hand tingle. You always do that, he said. You know? Do what? She asked. That thing. You hold things just a little too long. Her eyes narrowed in curiosity. Does it bother you? No, he said a bit too fast. It's just ... noticeable. She leaned in slightly. Among Thalari, if one wants to understand someone better, we share touch. It tells us things, like heat and emotion. Tom raised an eyebrow. So you're learning about me through my hand? Rila nodded, serious. You are warm, and your fingers shake sometimes, but not from fear, from confusion. And maybe interest. Tom choked on air. Okay, I think I'll go back to fixing things now. But as he turned, a loud clang echoed behind them. One of the gear crates had slipped from the rack and was tipping forward straight toward Rila. Without thinking, Tom grabbed her arm and yanked her to the side. The crate smashed onto the floor where she had stood. A moment passed. Dust floated. In the air, Rila stared at him. You pulled me. Tom blinked. You were about to get crushed. She didn't look angry. In fact, her glowing eyes softened. You touched me fully, not just hands. He scratched the back of his head. You're welcome? Rila stepped closer. You risked your safety for me. Is that normal? Tom shrugged. It is when you care. Or when you don't want to watch. Someone get flattened by space junk. Her fingers touched his arm gently. You confuse me, but I like the confusion. He coughed. That's great. Now let's not die under a crate again. She nodded, but didn't move her hand. You saved me, so I owe you something. Tom narrowed his eyes. What kind of something? Rila turned serious. I will fix something personal of yours. Something no one else is allowed to touch. Tom raised both hands. Whoa, okay. That could mean a lot of things where I'm from. I will choose it myself, she said calmly. You cannot stop me. Tom tried not to panic. You do know you're scaring me now, right? She smiled. Excellent. That means I'm getting closer. As they packed up, Tom noticed his old wrist device, one he hadn't used in years, was gone from the table. He looked around. Hey, where's my Rila? Gave him a small wave as she walked out. The device was in her hand. She called over. Her shoulder. I will return it when it loves itself again. Tom stood there in disbelief. Great, he muttered. Now even my wristband needs therapy. But secretly, he smiled. Personal repairs and unexpected promises. Tom checked. His wrist for the 50th time that morning. Still empty. The old wrist device was a gift from his first year in training, half broken, scratched, and not very useful anymore. But it was his. And now Rila had taken it, saying she'd make it feel loved again. He sighed. This is why you don't let aliens near your stuff. He was back at the diagnostics bay, repairing drone controls, We heard light footsteps. He didn't have to turn. "Let me guess you fixed it by singing to it," he said. Rila appeared beside him, holding out the wrist device. "No, I hummed low-frequency energy tones. They help align the inner parts. Also, I polished the strap." Tom took it and blinked. The screen lit up like it hadn't in years. The data logs were cleaner. The straps had been repaired, and the tiny cracks sealed. It looked ... new. "Whoa," he said softly. "You actually fixed it." "I told you," Rila said, pleased. "When machines are treated with care, they return the favor." Tom smiled. "Remind me not to let you near my toothbrush. You might turn it into a space shuttle." Rila tilted her head. "That would be efficient." He shook his head with a laugh and strapped the device onto his wrist again. It fit perfectly. "Thanks, Rila. Seriously, that meant something." She stepped a little closer. "You're welcome. You protect me. I protect your things." Tom looked at her. She was standing very close again. "Hey, Rila," he asked. "Do Thalari ever talk about boundaries?" She blinked. "Do you mean defense shields?" "No," Tom said quickly. "I mean, like personal space. How close is too close?" She thought for a moment. "Thalari don't have that. We are open by nature. But I noticed when I touch you, your heartbeat changes." Tom felt his face heat up. "You noticed that?" "Yes, it rises quickly. Is it pain?" "No," he said. "It's something else. Something emotional?" She asked. Tom hesitated. "Yeah, you could say that." She studied his face closely, her eyes glowing a soft purple again. "That's what I wanted. Emotional response. Connection." "Wait, wanted?" he asked. "You were trying to get that reaction?" "Yes, you confuse me. You protect me, joke with me, and blush when I touch your hand. I needed to understand." Tom looked down. "Well, now you know. I'm not great at this kind of thing." Rila gently placed her hand over his wrist again. "Then we will learn together." His heart pounded. Again, but before he could say anything else, a loud crash echoed. From the hallway, an emergency siren blared. "Warning. Level 3 containment breach in cargo hold." Tom jumped up. "That's the sealed weapons bay." They both ran out, racing down the metal corridor. When they reached the hold, smoke was pouring from the ceiling, and one of the drones had gone berserk. It was swinging a laser cutter wildly, sending sparks everywhere. A small group of crew members had taken cover behind crates. Tom ducked beside a control panel. "Its auto-programming's messed up. I need 10 seconds to shut it down." Rila looked at the drone. "I'll distract it." "Wait, what?" "That thing's dangerous." She stood up anyway. The drone turned and aimed the cutter straight at her. Tom's heart stopped. "Rila, get down." But she didn't. Instead, she raised her arms slowly and took careful steps forward. "Easy little machine," she whispered. "You are not unloved." The drone's cutter sparked, but didn't fire. For one strange second, it almost seemed to hesitate. Tom jumped from behind the crate and slammed the emergency shutdown. Drone powered down and fell limp. Silence filled the room. Then cheers broke out from the crew. Tom rushed to Rila. "Are you crazy?" "You could have been sliced in half," she smiled. "But I wasn't," and the drone listened. "You don't know that," he said. "I do," she replied, "because I treated it like you taught me, with care." Tom couldn't argue with that. As they left the cargo hold, Rila looked up at him. "You were afraid for me?" He nodded. "Yeah, I was." "Good," she whispered. "Then my repairs are working on you, too." The alien who repaired more than machines after the cargo hold incident, Tom started noticing small changes. His tools were always cleaned and polished before his shifts, even the ones he rarely used. His gloves never smelled like engine oil anymore. The lights above his workbench had a faint purple glow. Now Rila had secretly adjusted the settings to soothe human eyes. At first, he brushed it off, but it kept happening. One day, his broken chair had been replaced by one that somehow fit his back just right. He turned to find Rila nearby, quietly typing something into a maintenance pad. "You changed my chair," Tom said. "You were sitting wrong. That makes your mood grumpy." He raised an eyebrow. "So you've been fixing me now too?" She gave a proud little nod. A broken tool cannot fix another tool. If you are not working right, machines suffer. Tom wasn't sure if he felt flattered or concerned. "Well, thanks, I think." She stepped closer. "I've also improved your storage locker, and your boots, and your data pad, and I fixed the cracked screen you kept ignoring." He looked at her. "Rila, do you ever stop fixing things?" She thought about it. No, that would feel like leaving something unfinished. "I don't like that," Tom chuckled. "You sound more human every day." Rila blinked. "That is not an insult, right?" "No," he said. "It's actually kind of a compliment." She looked pleased. That night, while running final diagnostics on the ship's nav systems, Tom sat beside her in the quiet control chamber. The hum of the engines filled the silence. For a long moment, neither said a word. Then Rila spoke softly. "Why do humans avoid showing emotion sometimes?" Tom leaned back. "We don't always avoid it. We just hide it better. Or we think we should. Why? Because being vulnerable feels dangerous. It feels like letting someone take a piece of you." She nodded slowly. "Valere don't do that. If we feel something, we show it. If we like someone, we say it." Tom hesitated. "That's bold. You're afraid of being open?" He looked at her. "Yeah, a little. Maybe more than a little." Rila turned to face him fully. "I'm not." She gently reached out and touched his hand again. But this time, her touch was different. It was still light, still careful, but it stayed. Longer than before. "I have been fixing things for many days," she said quietly. "Machines, tools, even your boots. But this," she looked at their hands, "this is the one thing I fix slowly. Because it matters most." Tom felt his chest tighten. Not with fear, but something warm. Something real. "You're serious," he said. "Very." He looked down at their hands. "Rila, you've changed a lot since we met." She smiled. "You changed me. Just by being yourself." Tom didn't know what to say, so he said nothing and let the silence sit between them like a soft blanket. Later that night, as they walked back to the quarters, Rila paused near her door. "I am not finished yet," she said. "With what?" Tom asked. She pointed at his chest. "You still have pieces out of place, but I will fix them. Slowly. Carefully." Tom smiled. "Then maybe I'll try fixing something in you too." She raised an eyebrow. "Like what?" he thought. "Maybe. Whatever makes you steal my tools every morning." She grinned. "No, that part stays." Something inside him changed, and she noticed first, Tom stood outside the main hangar bay, watching the stars through the thick glass window. Ships passed slowly, blinking with lights, like silent birds gliding through black space. He felt different lately. It wasn't just about the tools or the repairs. It wasn't even about the weird way Rila treated bolts like babies. It was something else, something deeper. He couldn't stop thinking about her. Her quiet focus, her strange ideas, the way her hand stayed on his a little longer than necessary, the soft glow in her eyes when she looked at him. And the part that surprised him most, he didn't want her to stop. Footsteps came from behind. He didn't have to. "Turn to know. You're thinking again," Rila said, standing beside him. Tom smiled. Is it that obvious? Yes. Your shoulders always drop a little when your thoughts get heavy. He looked at her. You've been studying me? She tilted her head. I study everything, but you more closely. Tom chuckled. Should I be flattered or worried? Flattered, she said quickly. Definitely flattered. He looked back at the stars. Everything feels different now. She nodded. Yes, something inside you has shifted. Tom looked at her. You can feel that? Yes, the way you move, the way you speak. Even the way you look at me. Now your eyes are softer. He felt his cheeks heat up. Maybe I'm just tired. No, Rila said. You're opening. Tom stayed quiet for a moment. I've never really trusted people easily. But you, I don't know. You just keep showing up, fixing everything, making things work, making me work. She stepped a little closer. And you keep catching me when things fall. He turned to face her. She looked up at him, eyes glowing faint violet. Tom took a breath. I don't know what's happening. Between us, she nodded slowly. I do. He blinked. You do? Yes, she said calmly. It's what humans call ... connection, intimacy, attachment. He scratched his head. That fast, huh? Layla shook her head. No, not fast. Just clear. Tom looked down at their hands again. You still planning to fix me? Only if you let me. He hesitated. And slowly, gently, he took her hand in his . Her fingers curled around his naturally. Warm, soft, familiar now. I think, Tom said quietly, maybe I needed to be broken a little, so I could be rebuilt ... better. She smiled, her whole face lighting up, and we fix each other. Suddenly, the intercom crackled. Attention, crew. Incoming cargo ship has suffered damage. Emergency docking in 5 minutes. Prepare medical and mechanical support. Tom looked at Rayla. Looks like we've got work to do. She nodded and squeezed his hand. Let's fix someone else now. They ran together toward the lower hangar. Inside, the cargo ship screeched. As it entered, its hull sparking from friction. Steam poured from the undercarriage. Lights flickered above. Crew members rushed in with repair kits and stretchers. Tom and Rella split up. He moved to the ship's left thruster. She to the crushed underbelly. He shouted over the noise. Be careful, she called back. I always am. But as she climbed under the bent panel, the metal shifted. A loose beam snapped from above. Tom saw it falling and didn't think he ran. He dove forward and yanked Rilla out just in time. The beam crashed down beside them. They both hit the floor hard, rolling. Tom landed first, Rilla on top of him, again. She blinked in surprise. You keep doing that, he coughed. Yeah, I guess it's a habit now. You protect me without thinking. Because I care. The words slipped out before he could stop them, but he didn't regret it. Rilla looked at him, wide-eyed. I care too. They lay there for a second longer, surrounded by sparks and shouts. Tom laughed. We're going to get in trouble for always ending up like this. She smiled. Worth it. She fixed his gear, but he repaired her heart. Next morning, Tom sat quietly at his workbench. A cup of lukewarm coffee sat untouched beside him. Tools were laid out neatly, too neatly. He wasn't working. He was waiting. Footsteps approached. He didn't even look up. You're late. Rila's voice was gentle. I stopped by the core reactor. It was humming wrong. Tom smiled faintly. Of course it was. She sat down across from him. Number. Tools. No wires. Just her. For a moment, they sat in silence. Not awkward. Not tense. Just quiet. Then Tom looked at her. Do you ever stop fixing things? She blinked. Only when they stop needing me. Tom shook his head slowly. You know, you came here to fix human gear, circuits, pipes, broken parts. He paused and added softly, but instead, you fixed me. Rila tilted her head. You were never broken, just unplugged, maybe a little rusty. He chuckled. That sounds worse, she smiled. But now you work. He looked at her for a long moment. So do you. Her face changed just slightly. Her usual calm expression softened, and her shoulders dropped in a way he hadn't seen before. Less formal, more open. I didn't come here to understand. Humans, she said softly. That was just an excuse. Tom leaned in a little. Then why did you come? I wanted to feel something different. Something new. Something alive. And did you? He asked. Yes, she whispered. And it scared me. Tom blinked. Scared you? But you act like you're never afraid of anything. She looked down. I didn't understand how fast humans feel, or how deep. Your emotions are like gravity. Once I stepped in, I couldn't leave. Tom reached across the table and touched her hand gently this time. Not surprised anymore. I don't want you to leave, he said. She looked up, eyes glowing violet again. Then I'll stay. For as long as I'm welcome, he smiled. Then stay forever. A soft alarm beeped nearby. A reminder to check the fuel cells. Neither of them moved. Finally, Tom stood. Want to fix something with me? She rose beside him. Yes, but only if we break it a little first, he laughed. That's dangerously Thalary thinking. Together, they walked toward the hangar bay again. Crew members waved. Others just nodded. Everyone had noticed by now how the two of them worked side by side like they'd been built from the same blueprint dot as they reached the work zone. Another human crew member approached. Hey, Tom, heard you've got an alien tech assistant who whispers to bolts. That true? Tom looked at Rila, then back. She doesn't just whisper to bolts. She also makes humans fall in love with her. The crew member raised his brows. That sounds like a system failure waiting to happen. Tom smirked. Or a perfect upgrade. Rila didn't say anything, but her hand brushed his as they walked away, just enough to make his heart jump again. Later, as they repaired a damaged drone wing together, she spoke without looking at him. You said you wanted to fix something in me. He smiled. I think I already did. She looked at him, confused. You said you came here searching for something alive, something that feels. I think you found it. Rila nodded slowly. Yes, I did. And he asked. Stepped closer. And I want to keep it. Tom looked around to make sure no one was watching. Then he leaned in and kissed her just briefly, just gently. Her skin glowed bright pink for the first time. She blinked. That was intense. Tom laughed. That's human connection. She reached up and touched her lips. Do it again, for science. He grinned. You're not fooling anyone. She smiled. I'm not trying to. From across the bay, a crew member shouted, Hey, lovebirds. Stop flirting with the drone and come help with the thruster array. Tom grabbed a wrench. Duty calls. Rila picked up the calibrator. Let's go fix the universe. And together they did. Bolt one smile, one repaired heart at a time.